Some women spiral on weekends. They binge, they crash. They wake up Monday so ashamed, with so much regret. But that's not you. You don't lose control. You don't fall off. You don't do resets. You hold it all together every day. And everyone thinks you're doing amazing, but your nervous system, it's permanently braced. You don't spiral, you tighten. And that pattern is quieter, but just as costly. You wake up already alert, not anxious, just ready. You eat correctly, you move your body, you stay consistent, you follow the plan. You don't emotionally eat, you don't sabotage yourself, you don't swing wildly, but you also don't fully relax. Even when you sit down, your shoulders lean forward slightly, your jaw stays tight, your breath doesn't drop into your belly, and you call it discipline. Your body calls it vigilance, and vigilance long-term changes physiology. It elevates cortisol subtly. It keeps the sympathetic nervous system slightly active. It can reduce digestive blood flow. It lightens deep sleep, can make it tricky. And it keeps inflammation simmering quietly, not dramatically, just enough to prevent full repair. You're not dysregulated in a chaotic kind of way. You're dysregulated in a controlled way. And that's harder to recognize because it can look successful. There was a season in my life where I looked incredibly healthy. I hit every workout. I followed every supplement schedule. I didn't deviate. I was disciplined. I'll try to find a picture of this time and post it on here. I was working at a clinic that I really enjoyed. It's a great place. It still is. I believe it's still open even though I'm no longer there. But I had a great group of people and we had a great program and we were helping so many. And I was doing the things, like I just said, but something was off. I remember sitting outside one evening with my family, and the kids were laughing. And I had so much at that time to be grateful for. And I felt tense. I felt stressed. Where was I? I felt not there. My body was scanning, planning tomorrow's meals, optimizing something, looking for a better way to figure out the schedule so that I could get more control over the meal situation because I felt that we were eating out too much. But in the mornings, to get to this job that I did enjoy and really wanted to be at, I had an hour commute and I had multiple children that needed to get dropped off at different schools because of age difference. And I still had to get up in the morning, right? and get myself ready. And as I'm sitting in the evenings with my family, after having worked all day and gone through the things that we go through to get through the day, I'm already thinking about and anxious about the next day in order to make it better. Planning tomorrow's meals, making something good, making something healthy, just replaying something from my day that I could have done, that I will do, that I think I should have, but I might have not, right? These patterns these loops we get stuck in, even though nothing was wrong. But nothing felt soft either. And I had to ask myself, am I healing? Or am I just managing? Because managing symptoms and healing symptoms are not the same thing. Healing requires safety. Managing requires control. And I was still controlling. Most women in this pattern once lived in chaos. Maybe you used to binge. Maybe your symptoms were unpredictable. Maybe your body scared you. I've been there. In my 20s, I struggled with binge eating excessively. And when I say binge eating, I'm serious. I could go and buy a bag of candy. I really liked purple Skittles. They're so good. And I could get one of those big bags, like big bags. Like there's the 1 pound bags and there's the 3 pound bags, and I could get a 3 pound bag. And I could take it home and devour it. Like I could eat so many Skittles that I would get sores in my mouth from binging on Skittles. It was no joke. Heath bars, not just the normal ones, but like the little ones individually wrapped for whatever reason, had the perfect balance of crunch and chocolate. And I honestly could buy a full-size bag of those and sit down and watch a series of something that's a little bit different, because Netflix wasn't like it is now, right? There wasn't the streaming. I know I'm giving my age away, but I could still watch TV and eat these chocolates and just eat them and eat them and eat them. And the whole bag could just disappear. And what? Why? And then at the same time, I was dealing with symptoms that did scare me. And my body was struggling. And my weight was out of control. And my multiple sclerosis symptoms were escalating, which now makes sense, now knowing what I know now. But I didn't know at the time. I didn't understand then what I do now. But I was in such a scary place because I had small children at the time, or I'd started to, and we had stairs in our townhome, and my MS was progressing so quickly that I would at times fall on the stairs. And I got to the point that I was scared to walk up or down the stairs with my baby. And I would sometimes hold my baby, and then I would scoot one step down at a time just to be safe. And I never did fall with the babies. I mean, I myself did, but not with the babies. And it really became scary. Simple things like even doing laundry, because the bedrooms were upstairs and the laundry was downstairs in the basement. So lots of steps. It's a scary thing, all right? I know not everyone has MS and not everyone has those specific things, but most women that I talk to, most women that I've met with have something that they're dealing with, whether it's an autoimmune condition or some type of cancer or a fear of it because of a strong family gene, or there's just so many things. Diabetes are rampant. I won't even do the list. I'll stop. The point is, sometimes our bodies scare us, and so we tighten. Even though we can be structured, you got stabilized through discipline. That was wise, but we need to remember, because sometimes we forget to transition into restore. Your nervous system never fully received the message, you're safe now. So it stays slightly contracted even in success, even in progress, even in obedience. This is why I went from eating unhealthy and having all kinds of problems and going through a time frame. And when I say a time frame, I mean, we're talking a decade, right? Many, many years that I learned and I grew and I became a health coach and I became certified and I had gone back to school and I did all the things and I made all the changes and I was actively doing it. But yet, even when I was actively doing it and had made the changes, I was still on that evening sitting with my family with everything to be grateful for and feeling anxious and feeling stressed and feeling uncertain. Even though my MS symptoms had mostly improved, I was doing great. I was still trapped. I was in the 80% functioning trap. You're functioning, you're productive, you're consistent, you're admired, but your body never drops into full parasympathetic repair. True repair happens when the breath deepens, the jaw unclenches, the gut receives blood flow, the brain shifts out of constant scanning to try and fix and repair and prevent. And if your system is always slightly braced, you stay functional but not restored. And autoimmune bodies, hormone-sensitive bodies, high-achieving women, they especially need restoration. I once asked a woman in this pattern, why do you feel completely safe enough to let your guard down? Like, why would you ever feel that? When does that happen? And she went quiet, not defensive, just quiet. And then she said, I don't. That silence told me everything. She had mastered discipline, but she had never practiced softness. Another woman told me, I fixed my food issues. I don't binge anymore. And I said, that's great. That's beautiful. When do you feel playful? What do you do instead? And she laughed awkwardly and she's like, I don't really do playful. What? Like, I don't do that. If your nervous system only knows chaos or control, it still doesn't know safety. Safety includes flexibility. Safety includes joy without performance. Safety includes not monitoring yourself constantly. I just am trying to make sure I've said everything. You know, I worked with another woman who loved the Lord deeply. She served faithfully, and her home was orderly, and her meals were very intentional. And she showed up for everyone, always there, always present, always helping. But when we talked about softening, she got emotional because somewhere along the way, she had linked control with virtue. And if she relaxed her standards, wasn't she lazy? If she stopped optimizing, wasn't that making her irresponsible? If she loosened her grip, was she failing God? And I gently asked, where did you learn that tension equals holiness? Because nowhere does it say, blessed are the braced. It says, blessed are those who trust. Somewhere along the way, we confuse tension with holiness and control with faith. But trust feels different in the body. Holiness does not require hypervigilance. And sometimes the bravest spiritual move isn't tightening up your grip, it's loosening it and believing you're still held. Long-term bracing doesn't explode your life. It just dulls it. Sleep becomes lighter and digestion stays slightly tense. Hormones flatten, joy feels muted. You don't binge, but you don't feel deeply alive either. It's how you sit in the yard with your kids and feel empty. Even though you are doing everything, you operate at 80%. Strong, capable, reliable, but tired. And healing requires more than strength. It requires safety. So what to do without collapsing? This is not about becoming reckless. This is not about abandoning discipline. It's not. This is about transitioning from survival-based control to trust-based regulation. Start here. Before a meal, take 3 slow breaths. Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw. Let your exhale, breathing out, be longer than your inhale, breathing in. So breathe in 3 or 4 seconds and then breathe out 5 or 6 seconds. Do this a couple times, more if you can. This signals safety to your vagus nerve. And once a day, ask, where am I bracing? Your stomach, your forehead, your hands, where is it tense? Then soften that area intentionally. Even for 20 seconds can help. It matters. Schedule unproductive time. Not scrolling, not optimizing, not fixing, just existing. Your nervous system needs proof that something bad happens when you stop gripping? No, it needs to know. You can stop for a minute. It's okay. I once asked a client to eat dinner without logging it, which might sound weird, but I told her to. Don't log it. Do the same food, same portion, same body. She texted me halfway through and said, I feel anxious. Nothing was wrong, but there was no tracking, no confirmation, no external proof, and that anxiety revealed something powerful. The control wasn't about food. It was about safety. When she finished the meal and nothing collapsed, that was the breakthrough. Not rebellion, rewiring. And rewiring feels uncomfortable before it feels free. If this is you, you are not broken. You built strength in a season that required it. But now we shift from strength to restoration. The women who spiral need stabilization. The women who brace, they need softness. And in the next videos, we're going to talk about what happens when you try to soften and anxiety rises, because that is common. And it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means your nervous system is now learning a new language, and we're going to teach it safely. I'll see you there.